Hey everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're doing a makeup look using only drugstore products. Even the brushes that I've used today I've tried to keep all drugstore as well. So let me know if you like it down in the comments below and give it a big thumbs up if you do. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you want to see how we did this then keep watching. For my primer I'm going to be using the NYX Photo Loving Primer, and this is the anti-redness one. I'm just going to be putting this in my T-zone mainly. For foundation I'm going to use the L'Oreal True Match. This is my absolute favourite drugstore foundation. I do really love the Rimmel Wake Me Up for every day, but this was the first foundation that I ever started using and I've used it ever since. And I'm applying it today with the Real Techniques Beauty Sponge. And I do absolutely love my beauty blender, but I've been using this one quite a lot recently and I really like it. And it's less expensive. So I've built that up so it's quite good coverage. I'm not sure what look I'm actually doing today, I'm just making it up as I go along, but I'm feeling quite a glam look today, so I want a little bit more coverage. Moving on to concealer, just to sort of correct the under eyes a little bit first, I'm going to use the Complexion Lasting Perfection Concealer, and this is in the shade Medium Cool, and I find this to be a little bit more of a peachy undertone, so I like to use this first just to hide any dark circles. And then I'm also taking that on the lid just to act as a primer. For concealer I'm going to use the Healthy Mix Concealer by Bourjois, and I'm not sure what the shade is supposed to be. It says 51 on the back, so maybe that's the shade number. So I'm just going to apply this with my finger everywhere that I want it. To set the concealed areas I'm using this Clear Complexion powder from Rimmel, and this is one of my favourite setting powders of all time and it's so cheap. And to apply that I'm using the Real Techniques Bold Metals brush, and I'm not sure whether you would class this as drugstore because even though it is a drugstore brand it's probably one of the most expensive brushes that I own. So I'm just taking the powder and I'm pressing it on the top so we don't disturb or move it around. So also just lightly dust this over the lid as well, just to set the concealer that we applied for our primer. I'm going to contour using the L'Oreal Infalible Sculpt, and I've been really enjoying this contour shade. I'm using the shades light medium, and I'm not too much for the highlight one, but the contour I've been really enjoying. To apply that I'm going to use the contour brush from Real Techniques, and I just stipple it in like that. For bronzer I'm going to use the Bourjois Chocolate Bar Bronzer, and to be honest I was a little bit disappointed with this one. I thought it would have a little bit more pigmentation than it's got, but I'm going to go with it anyway, and I'm going to use this blush brush from Real Techniques. And we're just going to start warming up the face with this. I just wish it was that little bit more pigmented. I'm going to use another bronzer as well to deepen it up a little bit, and I'm using this Rimmel Natural Bronzer and it's in the shade Sun Bronze. And I think this is a lot cheaper than the Bourjois one and it's so much more pigmented. For blush I'm going to use this peachy one from NYX and it's in the shade Peach. And I'm just taking this brush from Real Techniques again. I'm going to smile and I'm going to blend this back into my bronzer. Moving on to brows, and I'm a little bit scared because I only ever use my Anastasia brow products, so today it's going to be a little bit of a shock. So I'm going to use this brow pencil because it's the only other brow pencil that I own. I don't even think it's the right shade, so we're just going to see how we go. It's the Rimmel eyebrow pencil and it's in the shade Hazel. Brush them through first. Okay, the colour's not that bad. Okay, so I'm actually pretty surprised at that pencil. It filled in my brows really nicely. I'm just going to go around them with some concealer, and I'm using the Bourjois concealer that we used earlier. And I'm taking that on this eyeliner brush, which came with my gel liner, the Maybelline Eye Studio. But I never use it for eyeliner, I always use it for anything that I need a little bit more detail to, like this. Moving on to the eyes now, and I'm going to be using this MUA palette, and it's the Hall of Fame palette, and I got this in this month's Glossy box. And I've never used this brand before, but I swatched some of the shades and they looked really pigmented. So that's what I'm going to be using on the eyes today. So the brushes that I'm going to use today on my eyes are the Morphe brushes, and I know you can't get these in the drugstore, but they're definitely drugstore prices. They're really inexpensive. So this is the palette and the range of shades. They're all super pretty. There's a really nice mix of warm and cool tones, but of course I'm going to stick to the more brownie shades today. And the first one that I'm going to pick up is this one right here, and it's a sort of a nudie pink shade. And buff this into our crease. This will act as a transition shade and help all the other shades blend together. Next, I'm going to pick up this brownie shade right here. I really like the pigmentation and they are blending really nicely as well. There is some fallout in the palette, but I actually don't mind that. For the lid, I'm going to use this more champagne-y shade here. And I've only just realised that all the names are on the back, so I'm going to read them out for you now. I used Bear first in the crease, and then I used Hustle, and now we're going to use Catacomb. Patting this all over the lid. Ooh, these shimmery ones are really pretty. Next, I'm using this more blush tone shade, and it's called Rose Ash, and I'm just taking that on my finger and dabbing it on the top. To darken up the crease a little bit more, I'm using this shade right here, which is called Tectonite. Hopefully I have pronounced that right. I'm going to apply this more black shade here, which is called Titan, and it is shimmery, so I wouldn't usually apply this into the crease, but there's no rules of makeup really, so I'm going to anyway. Only using a small amount just to darken up this outer corner, only slightly. To highlight the brow bone, I'm going to use this shade here, and that is called Shy. I'm going to move on to liner before I do the under eye, and I'm using the Maybelline Eye Studio Black Gel Liner, which I always use anyway. And I will do a winged eyeliner tutorial if you want me to. So now eyeliner's done, I've just cleaned up the edges with some concealer. Sort of the same thing that we did with the brows earlier, but next to the wing. Now I'm going to go back in with the palette, and I'm taking this brown here that we used in the crease, and that was Hustle. Next I'm taking this eyeliner from L'Oreal, and it's the Infalible Stylo Liner, if that's right. And I'm going to line the top and lower waterline with this. Okay, now I'm just gonna brush through my lashes. I always like to do this before curling and do mascara. Oh, I forgot to set my brows in place. I'm using the brow drama from Maybelline. Always use this and I totally forgot earlier. And for my mascara, I'm using the Revlon Dramatic Definition Mascara. So while my mascara is drying, I'm going to get my false lashes ready, and I'm not using the Ardell Demi Wispies today because I refuse to keep wearing the same ones all the time. So I picked up these eye candy ones yesterday, and they are the Dramatise Strip Lash, and they're a little bit the same as the Ardell Demi Wispies, so just a little bit more lengthening. So I've applied the lashes and I absolutely love them. I have got a lash tutorial which I'll link in the down bar below if you want to see how I apply them. And now we're going to move on to highlighter, and I'm going to use the Sleek Solstice palette because it's got the most amazing highlighters in I've ever seen. And I'm going to use a mixture of this yellowy shade, and I really want to use a bit of the purple as well. So I'm going to take that on this brush. I'm going to start with the yellow one. Now I'm going to take some of the more purpley tone one. Oh, these are so nice. Moving on to lips, and I've been wanting to do a bright lip for ages, and as I was going through my drawers I found this shade here. It's the Revlon Super Lustrous lipstick, and it's matte and it's in the shade Sultri Samba. And just look at that colour. I'm going to line the lips first, and I'm going to use a mixture of these two pencils. These are both from NYX, and one is Purple Rain and the other one is Pale Pink. And I'm going to line it first with the purple one and then tone it down a bit using this more nude one. So that completes this drugstore makeup look. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and don't forget to give me a big thumbs up if you did like it and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye! For my primer today, I'm going to be using the NYX. Every time I drop something. Oh, that's the third time I've dropped something. I'm going to contour now using the L'Oreal Infalible Sculpt, and I'm going to use the contour shade, obviously, because we're contouring. My eyes are watering. And subscribe, and I'll see you soon. And that's all I wanted to say.